And good morning, I am your emerald-eyed muffin of love. Welcome along to this morning's United Kingdom talk, coming to you from the Chapel Hill Marina in Lincolnshire on this Friday, the 14th of June 2019. Here we are for a few laughs together again, although they're trying to remove more laughs from your life, boys and girls. Oh, yes, it was on the BBC Breakfast News this morning. Some bloke with glasses there, sitting there, honestly, with no personality whatsoever. I can't remember whose name it was, what his name was, I beg your pardon. But it was him and a lady sitting next to them. And they were talking about stereotypes in television adverts. Stereotypes in television adverts. And this today has been banned. Yes, gang, another thing for us all to laugh and sort of have a little bit of amusement over. That has now been removed from your lives. Something else that you're not allowed to do anymore. Are you ready? In the Metro, the story's in the Metro this morning. Adverts depicting they're calling this harmful gender stereotypes, such as men struggling with the housewife. With the housewife, exactly. Men struggling with housework or women unable to park a car will be banned from today. Once again, the PC Brigade have got it in for us all, boys and girls. We're not allowed to laugh at anything. And to be honest, you know, if you saw this bloke on the telly this morning, you know the sort. Sitting there, full of importance, with his glasses on. Well, I find it quite offensive when they show men who don't seem to be able to operate the washing machine or to wash up. No, it's funny. Why can't you see the funny side of it, dear? I mean, what a bloody boring life you must lead there. You know, just trying to look for faults in everything all the time. Oh, for God's sake. And then, so then, you get this. So then the interviewer, I can't remember who it is now, the interviewer, Naga was there this morning. She's getting more and more full of self-importance, that one, dear. I've gone right off her. I used to really like her. And it's just so full of self-importance, that one. Don't like her at all. Well, oh, hang on a minute, my camera's moved. An amateur moment, boys and girls. Just a moment. There we are. Back in place. I thought it was a little bit crooked like that. Oh, you're disappointed now. You thought that picture went right along the back wall, didn't you? It doesn't. Look, and there's my door to the living room. There's no secrets here. Hang on, back a bit this way. Here we are. There's no secrets here from you. I give it all to you. Anyway, so he's sitting there and he's moaning about this. And one of the other things he mentioned was adverts depicting men who try and change babies' nappies and they can't do it. And he said, I find it offensive. I find your face offensive, mate. You boring git. No humour in him whatsoever. Oh, it's really offensive. Right, so then the bloke interviewer, I can't remember what his name was now. He then says to him, he says, right, let's put you in charge. Remember, he's got a lady sitting next to him who's basically agreeing with what he's saying, right? Okay, so the interviewer then says to him, okay, so let's give you the power to create the advert for babies' nappies. What would you do? And he said, he gave one option first that the interviewer said, no, you can't do it that way. I can't remember why now. But then he came up with a second idea. What he'd have is two men in a race to change babies' nappies. And whoever wins at the end. It doesn't matter who wins at the end. So you put two men to and a baby each and some nappies. And whoever it was, and it's like a race. So that's the advert. At which point, the woman immediately strikes up and says, oh, well, that's typical of a man to do it, all about that, all about being in a race. I thought to myself, you're being sexist yourself, darling. Shut your mouth. The pair of you, shut your mouths. We're not interested. You are boring people. Why are they so obsessed by removing all the humour from life? Not on this programme, dear. We will laugh as long as we are alive. Which, looking at some of you this morning, isn't going to be much longer, to be honest. Anyway, let's read the story from the Daily Metro this morning. I think that's a London newspaper. So adverts depicting harmful. Okay, this is harmful. It is harmful to watch a man doing some washing up and getting it wrong. Apparently, that is harmful. Okay, that is harmful. I mean, are they seeing something I can't see here? They must be. Adverts depicting harmful Jersey, such as men struggling with a house park or women unable to park car. We love it. We know women can park cars. We know women can park cars. Except my sister. No idea at all, dear. Oh my God. Do not ever get into a car with my sister. You probably won't even get there. You'll end up somewhere completely different, and she tears down the road at warp speed. I mean, I thought it was the Starship Enterprise the first time I got in a car with her. My nephews, on the other hand, perfect drivers. My niece, great driver. My sister, no. Please do not get into a car with my sister. But it's funny when you see this stuff on the telly. It's funny when you see the woman reverse and she can't reverse the car. We know women can drive. In fact, if you look on insurance reviews and things like that, women get, or they used to get, cheaper insurance because they are better drivers than men. But to put it on the telly, it's just a little bit of a laugh, isn't it? Isn't it? Have you lost your sense of humour as well? Come on, it's funny. It's funny seeing a man trying to change a nappy. I tried it once, never again. I couldn't do it either. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with a man not being able to operate a washing machine or a woman not being able to park a car or build a house? You know, the new rule stipulates that ads must not include hackneyed portrayals likely to cause harm or serious or widespread offence. What a load of old bull. Other scenarios set to be outlawed include showing a man with his feet up while a woman cleans up the family mess and girls being less academic than boys. Advertisers will similarly have to tread carefully when, for example, contrasting a daring boy with a caring girl or belittling a man for carrying out commonly considered female tasks. What prat has come out with all this, eh? It does make you wonder. There's no hope for the human race. Comedy will be a thing of the past in years to come. You will be afraid to do or laugh at anything. I'm telling you. The rule follows. There won't be any of this if Boris gets in charge. Don't. The rule follows a review which found that some campaigns have the potential to reinforce harmful stereotypes and could in turn restrict people's choices, aspirations and opportunities. Opportunity not. You know that one, didn't you? It will not veto all forms of gender stereotypes, however, falling short of calling for a ban on ads depicting scenarios like a woman cleaning a man or a man doing DIY tasks. And so the story goes on. I give up with life, I really do. Let's say hello to some of you this morning. Good morning to Joey Millen is the first messagee. Is that a good word? A messagee. Is that a good word? A messagey. Good morning, Joey. First message of the day on Facebook from Joey. Adrian Richardson, good morning to you. Mark Jones, hello to Utah. Good morning, Utah. Mark says he is turning into this international treasure from Manchester. Am I an international treasure? Am I? Alan Carruthers, a very good morning to you, Alan. Hello, sir. Michael Lawrence in the house. Diane Jebb, good morning. Over on YouTube, Joanna's in the house. Claire, hello Claire. Morning Claire. Paul and Lou are there. Paul and Lou's sorry I'm late. I've been watching Lou doing the ironing. Good. Make her do it. You need a whip. Is she doing it too slow? Faster, woman, faster. Now you see, didn't you find that funny, or did if any of you found that offensive, you're watching the wrong program. I'm sorry, you really are. That's what we need, whips. You know, sometimes my sister doesn't properly, empty the dishwasher. She might leave a thing on, and if her husband goes and see it, Martin, my brother-in-law, if he goes and checks that everything's been done and it hasn't, he just takes her outside and beats her up. Is there I don't see a problem with that, do you? Do you? Hello to LaBelle, my emerald-eyed muffin of love. I love it. I love it. Every day she must spend the entire night, the delightful LaBelle, trying to think of something else to call me. Other people call me other names as well, LaBelle. They really do. Hello to Adrian Richardson, who's got droopy camera syndrome today. Oh, you noticed that as well, did you? Sorry about that. Morning to JP. Good morning. He saw the little video of stamps last night. I did do a stamp. I was trying to wonder what I would look like as a stamp. And I've got this Union flag pillow, and I put my head like that on it. It's on my Facebook wall if you want to see it. Just a quick idea I had in my head last night, so I just fired off a quick 20-second video just before I went to bed. LaBelle, stereotypes exist because there's a bit of truth in it. Of course there is. For example, all gay people are not hairdressers, right? But a lot of them are. Do you see what I mean? All women don't necessarily do the washing up or the household chores, but a lot of them do. All men certainly don't do washing up. All men certainly are not DIY experts. I'm one of them. Oh, believe me, I'd rather be in the sink doing the washing up than putting a nail in the wall. But some of them are. So you're absolutely right, LaBelle. Absolutely right. Adrian. Have to be at the ABC Club in King's Cross at Central Station. Is that why the pick from nappy changing? I bet you are very good at nappy. I'm no good at nappy changing. I tried it once. Must be about, blimey, over 40 years ago. Never again. I was no good at that. And it wasn't even dirty. Wasn't even dirty. Thank you. Paul and Lou said the last 30 plus years of British comedy is full of them jokes. I seriously don't know where the country's going. No, me neither. Not long, I fear, before Carry On films are banned. LaBelle, have you ever seen a Carry On film? Proper old school British comedy. They are hilarious. They'll be banned soon. They'll be banned soon by these, self-important, I'm offended by everything people. I'm sick of it. I'm really sick of it. I was saying to my mate the other day, actually, when people are kind of on their last legs, and I do wonder, and I've heard from people who didn't have long to go and have gone now. I've heard from them that they kind of give up at the end, and I do wonder if they kind of start looking around and thinking, what is the point of being here anymore? With all the changes that are going on all the time. We're, of course, sitting here because of changes that have happened in the past. Excuse me, I've got an itchy ear this morning. Oh, never put a cotton wool bud in your ear. Very dangerous. And I do wonder, some people laying there in their hospital bed when they might have a few years to go, kind of will themselves to die because they're just fed up with everything going on around them all the time. I do wonder that. Claire says she hasn't ironed anything for years. Do people still do it? Ha! Not me, Claire. Hey, there you go. Now, my sister does that. Not for nothing. She would do it for nothing, but I wouldn't let her do it for nothing. I bung her a few quid, and she does my ironing for me. What's the problem? What is the problem? Good morning to Michael Pullman. Morning. LaBelle's excited by the thought of the whip. I thought you might be, my love. do you want the black fishnet stockings as well? Or white ones, don't matter, whatever. Red ones even. Red, they do red as well. Adrian, how can you use whips from them made from leather? They're not vegetarian. Not me. I wouldn't use any sort of whips or anything. Don't worry about that. I wouldn't use a whip on you, Adrian. I promise you I wouldn't. I'd just shoot you. John doesn't know what an iron is either. Look at that. Well, look at that. LaBelle finds my names when the music montage is playing. There you go. LaBelle was brought up on Are You Being Served and shows like that. Absolutely hilarious. Are You Being Served? And you got the camp, stereotypical gay man in that. Now, listen, there are gay men who are like that. Not too many, but there are. Believe me. I mean, obviously, I'm not one myself. Completely, totally straight acting. You wouldn't know I was gay unless I told you. I'm aware of my, my very manly look, my butch look. I'm aware of that. Only by telling you what about myself do you know that, actually he doesn't like women. Well, it's not like doesn't like women. Doesn't like, doing it with women. Is that too early in the morning? I want you to just take that picture out of your head now. All right. Tommy Flynn. Good morning, Tommy. Advert. I can cook, clean, do DIY. I'm good in other departments too. Contact Chris Whidden with applications. Let's see. Tommy can do it all. He can do it all. Do it all with Tommy. Yeah, you could advertise the next B&Q things. You could do that, couldn't you? All right. LaBelle wears fishnets with rhinestones. And I'm the black version of Mr. Humphries. I can imagine that, LaBelle. I'm sure if you and me went out for a night of fun, we would have an absolute scream. I know that. We would. Adrian, can you get a job out? Are you being served as a gay man? It will suit you down to the ground. It will be perfect role model. I don't think I'd get away with it, to be honest, Adrian. I would go for a job, perhaps as an actor playing a gay man. I probably wouldn't get it because I'm too straight acting. That's just how it is, I'm afraid. Have you told John what an iron is yet, Claire? Anyway, that's that story there, and it's just a shame. It's just a shame how they're trying to remove all humour from our lives. Of course, if you spoke to these people, oh, we're not trying to make all humour. Yes, you are. You are trying to remove all humour from people's lives, and you are very, very sad at doing it. But please, if you get a chance to watch BBC Breakfast from earlier, this would have been on... Oh, actually, I don't know what time it was on. I think between 8 and 8:30. I think between 8 and 8:30 that portion was on there. But it's it was the typical bloke, with the black... As soon as you see a man, who looks a bit millennial. Okay, that's the word. They look a bit millennial with black, thick-rimmed glasses. You see a man who looks like that, thinks he's so bloody important. Usually arseholes, I'm afraid. And he certainly was an arsehole this morning. Dear me. Good. Right, let me tell you I'm glad to tell you that the rain has stopped. It was raining a little bit last night. I woke up only once to go wee last night. My kidneys are working very well, thank you. Thank you for asking. Yes, very well. And it was raining a little bit then, but it seems to have stopped this morning. It hasn't rained at all this morning, so I've got fingers crossed. I did have a little walk around the site last night. The caravan site last night to see if there was any areas that were underwater. There was actually one area right at the back and one right at the front which was a bit impassable by walking. The puddles were like that deep in this, but you could go around them sort of, so it wasn't too bad. I then walked up to the river, which is just a few minutes walk from here, to see how high that was, and it is higher than it is usual, much higher than it is usual. In fact, if the river's like, the river's like that, okay, then you've got another bit, and then like that, okay, so it's now over the other bit, and so if you're on a boat, you can't get to the steps because they're now underwater. So it's much higher than it is usual, but there's still a long way to go before it would get up to the top. It's funny when you're walking down that river, people stop and talk to you. It's lovely. Some people have got dogs. I've got such a wonderful walk from here. I just go through the site, up some stairs, and then there's a river, and a long, long path along the river, which I think goes all the way to Boston. And it's a lovely walk. It really is. And people stop and talk to you. And one old bloke, I said, all right, mate. I said, it's not very high. Got a little bit further to go yet. And he started telling me that last year in March, which is before I bought this caravan, I think it was June, July last year. So I've been here around about a year now. And he was saying last March, the river was almost at the very top. So... But it wasn't anywhere near that last night. And then another woman come with her dog, which was a Rottweiler, great big Rottweiler, not as big as my sister's Rottweiler. My sister's got a Rottweiler, and they are such lovely dogs. They really are. But they don't seem to like other dogs. They're all right. And this dog started jumping up on me like that. It was a girl dog. Oh, a lovely thing it was, and let me stroke it. Another dog come and it weren't happy. then she started having to hold it back from the other dog. And then another old bloke came along and he owned one of the boats that was there, you see. So it's a really nice walk up by that river. On the way to the swimming pool yesterday, I went to the tin shop. Do you know about the tin shop? That's where they sell nearly out of date and out of date tins and packets of food. Oh, I bought loads in there last night. The good news is that they've got baked beans back. Not normal baked beans, they've got chili baked beans. Have you ever had those? Oh, they're lovely. Chili baked beans, and I haven't had those for ages, so I bought 6 cases of that. So there's 6 cases and there's 6 tins in a case. So what's that? 6, 12, 24, 36 cans of those. 20 pence each. They're £1 in Waitrose. 20 pence each for a can of baked beans. Chili ones. Oh, lovely. They've also got smashed potato, which I eat quite a lot of smashed potato. It comes usually in a tube, right? In the shops, £2.20. At the tin shop, £1. And they also had the smash special, okay, which is in a little packet, a green packet, and it's smashed potato mixed with cheddar cheese and onion. 30 pence a packet. And that is really nice. But you don't want to have too much of that because it's full of cheese and all things that make you put on even more weight. Anything else I bought in there? Yep, some custard. That was about a month out of date. These are in little pots. You know, long life custard. Okay, and Heinz sponge puddings, which were about a month out of date as well. 30 pence each. No, sorry, 75 pence for 2. 75 pence for 2 sponge things. So much, I mean, you get it so cheap. And I think he gets it all, maybe it's slightly damaged or, as I say, just out of date. So if he's selling tins for 20 pence a can, I do wonder what he's buying them for, you know. Lots of money to be saved there. So that was the tin shop. That was on the way to the swimming pool. Then I went to the swimming pool, came back here, and we had a little bit of a break in the rain yesterday. So after lunch, I was able to, at last, put in my climbing plants. I've got a couple of climbing plants that I've positioned at the front of the caravan, right? One is a wisteria, and the other one is a yellow flowers. Lovely smell. Honeysuckle. Okay, so I've got a couple of great big long sticks that I bought up from home. I think they're about 8 foot long. And what I've done is I repotted the small plants into large pots. I've got 2 sticks going up at the front of the caravan like that. And at the top, I put some of my magic No More Nails, which is wonderful stuff. You can get it from the DIY place, No More Nails. So I put a little bit of that on the top of the wood, pushed it against the top of the caravan and a bit of tape on top to hold it there while it dries, and hopefully those plants will climb up that and along the top of the caravan, and that will look really nice. You know, that's something that's going to take a couple of years to mature, but if it works, it should look really nice. Yeah, and when that wisteria flowers, the smell is just beautiful. If you want something nice and smelling, you want a wisteria, a honeysuckle, and the little white ones, jasmine. Actually, I could put a jasmine along there as well, couldn't I, when I think about it? And you can intertwine the two because they flower at different times. You don't want them flowering all at the same time because the smells will get confused with each other. And so that was my afternoon there. Let's say hello to some more people now, gang. Let's just scroll back a little bit there. Where are we now? Rob. Good morning to Rob. Good morning, Rob, who says, my lease car with Volkswagen today. So working from home. Hope you're well. Your lease car is with Volkswagen. Oh, you're having a service, are you? Yes. I spoke to car dealers will tell you 3/4 of the battle of keeping your car on the road is to have it regularly serviced. You do that and it'll be fine. Hopefully, should never break down. Well, Adrian, cruising down the river. What's that song? Messing around on the river. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Just messing around on the river. Where's Joanna? I'm singing especially for you today, Joanna. All right? Claire the Mangle and the washed up. Morning to Alan Campbell. Good morning, Alan. All right, nice to see you there. I was trying to ring you the other day, and for some reason your number has disappeared from my iPhone. So if you could send it over in a private message, Alan, and we'll have another little chat. That's one of my childhood best friends there. Adrian's looking forward to seeing or smelling me because of the chili baked beans. You want to try some, Adrian? They're very, very nice. I can sell you a tin if you want. 40 pence. Do you want a tin of chili baked beans? They're £1 in Waitrose, you know. Morning to Junket. A very good morning to Junket. Hard man Chris carrying 6 cans of beans. There you go. You see, Junket? Hard man, as he noticed. There, yes. Hard man, thank you. Morning to Ray Reynolds. Morning, Ray. Morning, Ray. No more jokes on the BBC unless you're highly played Graham Norton or Mrs. Brown. Bing Brack satire. We all agree with you, Ray. We absolutely all agree with you, you see. We all agree with you. Michael's worried about the beans as well. Gas incoming. Claire, that's the great thing about having dogs. You get out in the countryside locally, all the dog walkers know, and talk to each other. You're not alone with a dog. We are not alone. La la, sung by that wonderful entertainer, Michael Jackson. Yes. Alan's telling me to stop rubbing my eye. It's the ear, that's worse. The ear's really itchy this morning. Ah, Joanna, there she is. I didn't want you to miss out on my singing, Joanna. Wind in the Willows, was that the song, was it? I can't remember now. Messing around on the water, that's it. La da 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 da. Messing around on the water. Is it water or river? No, I think it's river. Someone will look that up. Ray Reynolds will know that. Ray Reynolds will know that. He knows all music from all time. Absolutely. Thank you. The 80s version. All right. Morning, Chris Manzar. Good morning, Chris. He's just up the road somewhere near Skegness, aren't you? I hope you're not underwater there, Chris. Dreadful. Programmes I watched last night on the telly, I discovered on the BBC iPlayer. There's been 3 series of this. A programme called W1A, which is... I've got the little thing here. W1A. Okay, here's the synopsis from the website IMDb. With the London Olympics of 2012 now in the rearview mirror, Ian Fletcher, that's one of the characters, starts the next chapter of his life as the head of values for the BBC. His task to clarify and define the core purpose of the network across all its functions and position it for the future. These are the sort of people you don't want to know. I'll be honest with you. These people who are in charge of things, very boring. Very, very boring. Oh, how can you say that? What I do is... Have I got a bit darker suddenly? Has it got dark in here? I should turn... Hang on a minute. I've just noticed I'm looking a bit dark again. We had this problem the other day. The video, for some reason, seemed to... Oh, yeah, I see what's happened. 1 minute. 1 minute, 1 minute. Do that and do that. There you go. Is that bit better? That. I'm sure I took those ticks out of the boxes. Is that bit better? There you go. A little bit more brightness there. We can't be looking too dark there. His task is to clarify and define the core purpose of the network across all its functions. While Fletcher's job is to think big thoughts, he quickly realises that not only does he not have time to think big thoughts, but he doesn't have time to think any thoughts at all while he prepares the BBC for its upcoming licence fee renegotiation and charter renewal. Okay, and it's basically a comedy. It is quite funny, but it does include aspects on what you and I agree are wrong with the world about all the political correctness and all this and how they can't say certain things and this, that and the other for fear of offending. It's quite funny. So W1A on the BBC iPlayer if you want to look at that. Okay, Ray Reynolds says it's river. Thank you, Ray. Cruising down the river on a Sunday afternoon and messing about on the river. Thank you, Ray. There you are. I knew you'd know, Ray Reynolds. Thank you. Chris is in Buffalo, New York. What are you doing over there? Oh, beg your pardon, Chris. I'm confusing you with another Chris that I know. I beg your pardon. Sorry. You're not in Skegness. Is that like Skegness, Buffalo in New York? I bet it's not, mate. Messing about in the river. Tony Hatch and Les Reed. Thank you, Alan. All right. So we've improved the picture there. Thank you very much. Sorry about that. I must have forgotten to put a tick in a box there. And another programme that I watched, a film on Netflix last night. If you like horror films, it's not It's not too horrific, to be honest, but there's it was suggested to me when I had a little look. You know, the Netflix, it comes up with suggested programs. There's a film on there called I Am Mother, which I watched last night. It's good. It's very, very good. I'll read you the writing about it in The Sun this morning. It says, Netflix fans have been left shaken by the streaming site's latest sci-fi thriller, I Am Mother, with some admitting that their mind is mucked up after watching it. The film follows a teenage girl named Daughter, okay, played by Clara Rugaard, who is raised underground by a kind robot called Mother, voiced by Rose Byrne, which was designed to repopulate the Earth following the extinction of mankind. However, their unique bond is threatened when an injured stranger called Woman, played by Hilary Swank, arrives with alarming news. Following Woman's intrusion, Daughter begins to suspect that Mother isn't the kind matriarch she thought, with Hilary's character's help. But should Daughter trust her or not? The film is filled with twists and turns that have left viewers' minds blown with the evolving relationship between humans and our reliance on technology. Taken to Twitter after watching the film, which has only been out a couple of days on June the 7th, one viewer penned, I am watching I Am Mother last night and my mind is still mucked up from watching it. I Am Mother is disturbing and provocative. Some unsettling ideas are explored by this movie. Scenes between the robot and Daughter are beautifully shot. It's very well made. It's very, very well made. And I really enjoyed that last night. It's a long film. I think it's about an hour and 3/4, an hour and 50 minutes long. But it's a good film. So highly recommended viewing if you're not doing anything today or perhaps tonight. Do give that one a go, okay? It's on Netflix and it's called I Am Mother. Has anyone else seen that yet as a matter of interest? I Am Mother on the Netflix. Anyone seen that yet? Adrian says, Christian people make me choke on my drugs this morning. Please stop, I need them. What, the Christian people or the drugs? Or both, probably. I have a feeling if you went into a church, Adrian, you'd just burst into flames. I don't know if that's right. What was the guy from the BBC complain about you being mother? What that guy from the BBC complain about you being mother? Watch it all. Try that again, Adrian. Try that again, mate. Not working that one out. Try that again. LaBelle, have you done any research on the Olights yet? Yes, I have. The cheaper ones, I think you mentioned there was some for like $60. They plug into a USB thing. I'd want something that plugs into the mains, and they're a little bit more expensive. And I've actually ordered something new this week, actually. A little bit more pricey. I've ordered not a new computer, but I've ordered another computer for the caravan to do the shows, because at the moment I use a spare laptop to do it. And every time I come in here after the show, I've got to put it all away, unplug everything and do that. So I'm getting a dedicated computer to do the shows from here. This will have, I think I mentioned the other day, the laptop's only got an i5, and sometimes we get a little bit of a judder with the video and all. It looks perfect today, I know, but it's a little bit of a problem with that. So I've ordered a refurbished computer. I've never bought a refurbished computer before, but an i7 at vastly cheaper rates. I mean, I can't believe how expensive brand new computers have suddenly become. They've gone from like 450 to like £700-800. I don't know how that happened suddenly, but it was. They've gone up very suddenly. So I didn't want to spend a lot of money like that on something brand new for a caravan, you know. So I've got basically a refurbished one at a highly, highly reduced rate, and it'll be my first computer with one of those solid state hard drives. And it's got an i7 processor in it, 16 gig of RAM, and it should be perfect with that, to be honest. And that should arrive next week. I'm not up here next week, so I've got to set it all up from home, you see. But you know, you don't want to buy expensive stuff and leave it in a caravan. You know what I mean? Have you seen Bird Box yet? Do you know, I can't remember. Is that on Netflix? Bird Box? Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Yeah, that's the one with the blinds. They're not allowed to look out, are they? Is that the one? They have to keep their eyes covered all the time. Is that the one? You'll have to remind me, Chris. I think that's the one. Morning, Adam the plumber. Morning, sir. Morning. Adrian, the guy who was on BBC this morning, would probably complain about that programme Horror Film and Mother because it's a horror film. You are saying mothers are horrible. Not my mum. My mum was the best one in the world, Adrian. She was. The birds are loud this morning. What, at your house? Alan's got birds, hasn't he? He keeps birds. Beautiful little things they are. Pretty, all different marvellous colours. I tell you what, I was at my friend's house in Australia years ago, and they had the most beautiful house. It was on, like, kind of on the top of a hill, and down there was the bush. And all these beautiful birds used to come and visit them every day, probably for something to eat, you know. Beautiful coloured, I think they might be called parakeets, or they were like little parrots. Are they parakeets? Beautiful coloured birds, and they'd just all come up onto the veranda, you know, pecking away. They weren't bothered by people at all. Beautiful things. That was the film, was it, Chris? Thank you very much, Chris. Yeah, I know the film Bird Box. That's very good as well. Right, so today, the reason I'm up early is because I woke up early, and what I normally do, I'll try and sleep a little bit longer, and I thought, no, I'll get up today, because Friday is a little bit tight for me with time, because obviously later on, I'll be packing up and going down to London for the karaoke tonight, which I host at Central Station in King's Cross. So I thought, well, I'll get up early, then I'll get a swim in as well today, and because I've done the show sort of an hour earlier than we usually do, that's going to happen. I should be able to get to the swimming pool today, as well as that, and get my cheap petrol. Because up here, the petrol, last time I filled up here, actually it was Tuesday morning when I got here, wasn't it? Early Tuesday morning, 125.9. You know, the normal price seems to be about 132.9 at the moment. Although that does look like it's all going to go up shortly, due to an oil tanker, I think, somewhere in the Gulf, or two oil tankers that blew up this week. You know, which is a bit of a worry, really, isn't it? Very worrying. Hello to Khalidad67. Good morning to Khalidad. Welcome to the show. And Maureen joins us this morning. Good morning, Maureen. Over on the Facebook. We started a bit early this morning, Maureen, up 8:30. Right, wet wipes. Who uses wet wipes? Hello? Yep, me too. Me too. What do you do with them afterwards? Eh? Well, again, in the Metro this morning, I've kind of only just discovered how good the Metro is for these sort of stories that I do. As you well know, I don't really tackle anything that serious. Now and again, we touch on something here and there, but generally, I like the programme to be sort of fairly, you know, we can think about things, but fairly sort of amusing and upbeat, if at all possible. But we do serious things now and again. It just depends. In the Metro again this morning, which is good for these sort of stories, campaigners are urging the government to phase out the astonishing 11 billion. Remember, that's just in this country, yeah? It's just in this country. The astonishing 11 billion wet wipes used in this country each year, many of which are causing an environmental catastrophe. They are behind wet wipes. Now get this. Now this is a figure that surprised me. Right? Wet wipes are behind 93%, I'll say that again, 93% of blockages in UK sewers, and are even changing the shape of our rivers as they pile up on beds and banks. They don't disappear. You know, all these packets, and it says it on my packet as well, flushable. But they're not. The water companies say don't flush them. It says it on the packet, flushable, but they don't flush. They don't disintegrate. I saw an experiment on the telly a little while ago. And this scientist bloke, I think it was a lady actually. This scientist lady, she got two large glass jars, and she filled them sort of both half with water. Okay, and in one, she took off some toilet paper and put that in the jar and shook it like that vigorously for a minute or so. The toilet paper completely disintegrated. Then she did the same with the wet wipe, and she was shaking this thing for ages. Nope. Still there. Still looks exactly the same as it was when she put it in a jar. In the Metro, it says scientists say that many people are unaware of the damage that the wipes are causing, with the vast majority containing non-biodegradable plastic. They got plastic in them. Did you know that? I didn't. The industry has flourished with a broad range of wipes for removing makeup, cleaning all types of skin and surfaces, looking after babies' bottoms, and also to apply insect repellent or sunscreen, as well as the stuff we use to wipe our own bits and pieces with, don't we? By 2021, the global industry is set to be worth £16.5 billion. That's the wet wipes. And we see the other ones as well, don't we? I've got them here. You know, the wipes that, instead of using a duster, you know, a duster and a spray, you buy the wipes. You open a packet, pull one out, give everything a wipe, chuck it in the bin. Or you should chuck it in the bin anyway. Some people, a lot of people, seem to be putting them down the toilet. Not good. Founder of campaign group City to See, Natalie Fee, said the problems with wet wipes are threefold. Those that are flushed clog up our pipes and sewers and contribute to giant fatbergs. This then makes our sewage systems overflow and other plastics spill out into the waterways and seas, putting marine life at risk. So it blocks them up and then the water goes elsewhere along with the plastic. Those that are discarded in the bins will often end up in landfill or get incinerated, contributing to carbon emissions. And ideally, we want people to stop using them completely and treat them like they would any other single-use plastic. Gosh. Within the last decade, City to See said there had been a 400% increase in the number of used wipes found on beaches. Last year, the Marine Conservation Society recorded an average of 12 per 100 metres of coastline. That's an awful lot, isn't it? The main issue comes from people flushing wet wipes down the toilet, even those labelled as flushable. Once in the sewage system, they readily combine with fats, oils and greases to form blockages known as fatbergs. Each year, the water companies spend £100 million dealing with 300,000 sewer blockages. Money is then added to consumers' bills, so it's making your bills go up as well. Flushable wipes should contain biodegradable cellulose, whereas those that cannot be put down the toilet are made from synthetic substances such as plastic or polyester. Or polyester. Dreadful. A recent study found that many brand wet wipes from 10 leading chains that claim to be flushable failed the tests. Wipes from Aldi, Asda, Boots, Lidl, Morrisons, Sainsbury's, Superdrug, Tesco, Waitrose, Wilko were still likely to cause environmental problems. They added that only those with the Fine to Flush logo, which they don't include on here, so I don't know what that looks like, can be put in toilets. I mean, you shouldn't put any of them in toilets, I suppose. I mean, what do you do with them? What do you do with a dirty wet wipe? You're supposed to put it in your bin. I know that sounds disgusting. That does sound disgusting. You know, you let me paint the picture for you. You use the wet wipe, okay? Then you keep it on you, holding it, and place it in your bin. You walk through the house with it and put it in the bin. Will you do that, please? I suppose you could put it in a bit of tissue paper first, couldn't you? You can use the wet wipe, then put it in a bit of tissue paper. You mustn't put them down the toilet. It's destroying the blooming sewage system. It says there are lots of reusable cleaning cloths, makeup wipes, baby wipes now on the market, which cuts down on waste going to... Yeah, I get that. I mean, there's always been those cleaning cloths, isn't there? You know, use a bit of spray, clean it with a duster, done. Not quite the same with wet wipes in toilets, is it? You can't really use one. What are you going to do? Push it in the washing machine with your best clothes? I don't think so. So there we are. A bit worrying about that. Bit worrying about that with the old wet wipes. Do you use them? I hope not. LaBelle uses biodegradable wet wipes. We haven't even seen those. I don't know what they look like. I've never seen biodegradable, like the word biodegradable on wet wipes. Hello to Darren Yates. Thank you very much. Welcome to the show, Darren. Welcome, Darren. Very worrying, really, these wet wipes. I use them myself, and I will tell you, I do use them, then I fold them up and I put them in my bin. I do. I'm not even making that up. I do. You know, you might be the one, if you're putting them down the toilet, you might be the one who ends up with the water backing up from your toilet and you don't want other people's business all over your kitchen floor, do you? Eh? How dreadful. So that's that. What's the time there? Now, if you're going on a tube today, and now I don't know how well this will work. This is today, okay? This is today. Again, in the metro this morning, we haven't touched the other, but I've got lots of stories here, actually, I pulled out this morning. But the metro seems to be pretty good at these sort of stories. A warning for anyone who hates all human contact. Is that you? You know I don't like to spend more than 2 hours with someone. They start doing my head in after that. Well, people on public transport might be chattier than usual today. If you're getting on a bus or a train or a tube train, get ready for this here in the UK. Today, the 14th of June, there's a massive day-long experiment taking place called Crossing Divides on the Move Day, all about encouraging travellers to talk to strangers. How do you feel about that, eh? I do talk to strangers. When I was in Florida, actually, with my nephew, 18, 19, 20, it's 5 years, I can't believe it's 5 years ago. We had the best ever holiday with my young nephew. He was I think he was either 17 or 18 at the time, I can't remember. But anyway, we went to Florida, we did the 2-week Florida, Disney, Universal stuff. And one thing that used to really do his head in would be me talking to people that I'd never seen before. You know, on the little minibus that would take us to and from the resort or something like that. I'd strike up conversation. Have you been here before? And I'd be talking to people on there for ages. And he'd be behind and he'd say, why are you talking to these people? Well, it's being encouraged today. If someone strikes up a conversation today, don't react in the usual London way of being deeply alarmed. Have a natter. Now, I think this is the same for you in New York, LaBelle. People don't talk to each other there either, do they? It happens in London a lot on the tubes. And smartphones and headphones are a big contributor to this problem. They just want to sit there with the earphones on, staring down at their bloody phone, being offended by the latest offence that we've been told about by the BBC. If you're on a train today, you'll even find that the C coach is now a chat carriage. Why is the C coach? Let's read that again. Sorry, if you're on a Virgin train today, you'll find that ever C coach is now a chat carriage. What's a C coach? I don't know what that is. Whereas those taking the Tube or Greater Anglia trains might spot posters encouraging people to talk to Transport for London staff. At some tube stations, you might hear some announcements designed to get you chatting as well. Arriva will place conversation starter cards on buses. I mean, this is how bad it's got now. They're now actually having to put cards to suggest things that can talk about, because people are so self-absorbed and thick that they can't think of anything to talk about. And you can't make it up, can you? If you're in Birmingham and hopping on the National Express's number 11 route, you'll even be invited to take part in some stimulating activities. Interesting. It's all been organised by the BBC in an effort to combat loneliness. They say that for many of us, commuting absolutely sucks, and we mostly spend the long time travelling, staring at our phones, reading a book, and generally doing anything to help us avoid making eye contact with other humans. Now, listen, if you want to talk to someone on a bus or a train, just make a beeline for someone who looks a bit old. Okay, including me. That's all you got to do. They won't be staring into a phone. They probably won't be reading a book. And they probably won't have headphones on. They'll be looking out the window and looking around the bus. Go and talk to them. It's so much more interestingly than having your phone and flicking, oh, you've heard that song. Oh, I've heard that song. Oh, I've heard that song. Go and talk to someone. It says, of course, it's not as easy as just sitting down on a central line and spilling your life story. Talking to strangers can be tough. It's important to respect other people's boundaries. Oh, here we go. Well, why are you telling us this then? It's important to respect other people's boundaries and know if someone seems uncomfortable, it's okay to back off. You know, you might start talking to someone and say, yeah, all right. if that's the general thing that's coming across to you, then I wouldn't bother again. It is funny how we don't want to talk to people a lot of the time. I was like that with my father, and I don't know why, because I had a wonderful father. But as I got older, into my sort of late teens, 20s, even in my 30s, he would try and strike up a conversation and I'll just cut him stone dead for some reason. I don't know why. Of course, he died now. At 1996, my father died, and I wish I could have the time again. But once it's gone, and that's it. And you do beat yourself up for it afterwards. I don't. It must be a father-son thing or a young man thing. I thought I was an incredibly selfish person. I really do think I was a selfish person. It says, try breaking the ice with a compliment. You know, stick to things they're wearing or doing rather than physical attributes, which can be like a romantic advance, you know. So don't go up to them. You know, like, LaBelle, are you listening to this? Don't go up to them and say, oh, you've got a lovely pair of muscles there. That might not be a good thing. I know the sort you like. Don't worry about it. The ones who wear, you know, who wear the muscle vests with the muscles sticking out like this, and a tattoo. Find common ground. If it's raining, the train's packed, it's summer, and this weather, you know, talk about the weather or something like that. So there we are. If someone starts talking to you on the train or a bus today, now you know why, boys and girls. The BBC have told us all to do it. That they should have included a list, though, of politically correct things not to talk about. Please don't say, are you gay because you've got blonde highlights in your hair? That could be offensive. Oh, it gets on my nerves. It really does. Let's just scroll up. Ooh, let's just, 1 second. Khalida, can I post a link? Of course you can post a link. Post a link. I can't click on your link, unfortunately, while I'm doing the show because it'll probably throw out the broadcast computer. But you're welcome to post a link. Yeah, of course you can, my friend. Thank you for asking first. I appreciate that, but you didn't need to. You can just carry on and post your links, okay? LaBelle is in New York. Where I am, we don't talk to strangers, but then everyone's on their damn phones. Yes. Oh, yes. You get on a train, and then when you get to a station, look out the window. Practically 95% of them are staring down at their little screens, aren't they? Darren says it's going to make people with anxiety really uncomfortable. Maybe it will. Maybe it will, but it is nice to try, isn't it? Do you think? LaBelle is too busy laughing at what's offensive. Stimulating activities like snogging. Do you want to know what I look like when I'm snogging? Which has been for quite a few years ago now. Are you ready? Right. It's not a good look, really, is it? Khalidad, I was my dad's shadow. I miss him a lot. Yeah, me too. Me too, Khalidad. I really miss my mother and father. Claire, you never have a problem talking to older people on buses, but you can't start a conversation with someone young. They just look at you and say nothing. I love the conversation cards. Hilarious ideas. No, you're right, Claire. You're absolutely right. I've been wherever, you know, in many different places. Now, it might be a young girl or a younger boy. When I say young, I mean anything sort of under the age of about 25, you might say something and they just look at you like you're from another planet, don't they? With great suspicion. Thank you to Hakeem. Thank you very much for your comments there. There we go. He's just typed about the baby wipes there, Khalidad. He's on Vaughan Live, though. I'll be able to click on that, but after the show. I better not click on it now because it might throw something out on that computer, I'm afraid. All right. LaBelle, preferably a Pacific Islander with tribal tattoos. Oh, I say. A Samosan. Is that what they're called? Samosans. Oh, okay. Khalidad is in Australia, talks to everyone. Yes, you'll find that in Australia. When I've been to Australia, you talk to anyone, either on the bus or the train or anything. They all talk to you on there. Thank you very much. Darren, it's a good look. What's a good look? My snogging. Oh dear. Michael Lawrence on the Virgin train, coach C that normally has no phone calls. Oh, is that what it is? Is it one of those quiet coaches, is it? I didn't know that. I didn't know what that was. All right, going to do today's birthdays now, boys and girls. Happy birthday. We've only got 4 birthdays today. Happy birthday on this Friday, the 14th of June, 2019, to the lovely Charlotte Taylor. 25 years old. Good morning, Charlotte. You look fantastic in that picture. You really do. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday today to Mhari. Hello, Mhari. Mhari, one of our regular correspondents. I bet you'll send me an email after this, won't you? A young 62 today. Good morning, Mhari. I hope you're doing well, okay? Daniel Pippin Andrews. Good morning, Daniel. Happy birthday to you. And Jamie J. Jordan is a young 46 years old today. So happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Oh, that's noisy, isn't it? Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. All right? John Aiken, good morning. He's getting ready to go to Nottingham. Oh, I was near there in Loughborough on Wednesday this week, visiting the Rainbow Hospice, where my great niece is. He's going to go to Nottingham to see the family, but the weather is awful. Still wearing shorts to show off my barley tan. Have you really? Joanna, I hope you heard the singing there, my dear. All right. Hello to Surendar Gangwa. Welcome to the show to you. Although it's finished now, I'm afraid. Tonight, it's Friday night. I'll be hosting karaoke tonight at Central Station Bar in Wharfdale Road, King's Cross. Do come and join us down there if you're in the North London area. It's every Friday, 8:30 till midnight. You'll meet some wonderful people there who come every week. And Friday tends to be a bit younger than Monday. All right, so if you like a younger crowd, come along Friday. Although we have a lot of our wonderful regulars there also on a Friday. Martin will probably be there. Maureen often comes on a Friday. It's lovely to see Maureen there sing. I hope you do some ABBA tonight, please, Maureen. Little bit of ABBA tonight. And that's it, really. Okay, thanks very much for joining us on the show today. A pleasure to talk to you, as always. And I'll see you again very soon. Have a nice day, and thanks for watching and listening. Bye-bye now.